Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is the best show ever. Ricky Batalico, Tyrone Johnson here. You can view or listen to the best show ever, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday on 97.5 The Fanatic or at 97.5thefanatic.com. And, of course, NBC Sports Philadelphia. And, of course, you can download the podcast as well, any place that you get your podcast. Now, we know the Super Bowl now, Ricky Bo. We know that it's Eagles versus Chiefs, a rematch of the Super Bowl 2 years ago, which means because it's in New Orleans and season tickets got to go on the lottery to get tickets, and then they're very expensive. They're over $5,000 just to get in the building. I think at last check, anywhere around $5,400 to $5,500. Most people are not going to be able to go to the game. That means, of course, Super Bowl parties. So today, we want to help everybody ahead of time, okay? Maybe there's younger people who've never hosted a Super Bowl party. Maybe there are people out there who are veterans at it who just need a little bit of a tweak, because the number one thing you have to have outside of a good-sized TV, you cannot host a Super Bowl party with a TV with 40, even 40, like it has to have a 5 or bigger in front of it.
You can't just put your iPad up?
No, it has to have a 5 in front of it, 55-inch and bigger. It can't be a 47-inch and host. I'm not telling you need a 47-inch for your day-to-day life. I'm saying for you to host, okay? And you got to have the sound on because people will care about the commercials and stuff, okay? And then the other important thing, other than your TV size, has to be your menu. Okay, it has to be your menu. This is the Eagles in the Super Bowl. It's a really big deal. Now, people may not know that Ricky Batalico didn't just throw hard for a living. He's a foodsman, okay? Yep. This is Ricky Batalico. So, Ricky, right now, I'm going to ask you the question, and then people, if you agree or disagree with this, you can obviously comment, below the story or below this video on YouTube. So, Ricky, what are some foods we'll start with that you definitely want to see at your Super Bowl party before we get to things you don't want to see?
First and foremost, a Super Bowl party is not a picnic. It's not a kid's birthday party. It is a Super Bowl party. So first and foremost, I'm a chili guy. I love chili. You can make it out of ground beef, ground turkey, I like ground chicken. That's my favorite in it. I love the ground chicken in a chili. I love chili. That's number one. Number two, I think hot dogs and hamburgers are a no for this one. Now, you might have kids, okay? You could come up with some little, even like a what do they call it? The cheese. You make a cheese sandwich and you put some stuff on it. They'll like that too. Make it a little fancy for them. It's a big day. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. It's huge. You got to make something special out of this. Steaks are fine. Well, steaks. I'm big on steaks. I know they're expensive, but this is a splurge day. Steaks, lobster tail, always nice, and shrimp. You have to have some kind of shrimp cocktail. In my opinion,
you got to have some form of shrimp.
Shrimp cocktail is always good, but you don't get the soggy ones. Get the bigger ones so they stay together nicely.
Yeah, because I know some people don't like the seafood, but it's a nice touch because it's quick. You can grab a shrimp by the tail, dip real quick, and get right back to the game.
You need pick'em foods, like you're saying, kind of pick'em foods. And I look at that as soft pretzels are fine. I think soft pretzels are fine.
Nice item.
Have a couple different dips with that. I think mini cheesesteaks are always a good thing for people to just pick up and kind of go with. There's pizza's always okay.
Pizza's fine.
I think pizza's one of those things where everybody likes a slice here and there, but not for the main menu. The other thing is, if you're getting the pretzels, they have to be the soft pretzels. Don't splurge a little bit. Don't go to the grocery store and get the bag pretzels. Nobody wants it. It's a mess all over your floor to start with anyways.
Nobody wants those kind of pretzels of all the things, okay? No one wants them dry-ass pretzels.
Beer, wine, and liquor is a must. Obviously, you got to have some stuff for the people that don't drink, but beer, wine, liquor, always a must in these situations. But to me, here's the thing. I know there's Nova people out there. Champagne is a no-no unless you're using it to celebrate the win afterwards. That's the only way. Do a little toast after the game and a victory.
Hold on now. Some people said you mentioned some things that were a little bit high end. You mentioned lobster tail, high end. You mentioned steak, high end. Okay?
Yep.
Why then, if you're having this high end party, are you not allowed to then have the champagne?
No champagne.
Well, why? You gotta
Unless
give
you're
us a reason.
unless you're celebrating with, I don't know, maybe I just got a bad feeling about the champagne part.
Too early.
Too early. You pop the champagne if they win. If not, goes back in the fridge or wherever you keep it. Save it for next year. But this year you'll be popping it at about 10 o'clock.
All right. Now listen, I understand that this responsibility might be too much for some. That's okay. You don't have to host. Once you take on that responsibility, it's just in our opinion that there are some parameters you have to stay under. Now, Ricky, you mentioned some food that you would like to have.
Yep.
Now, what if a person says, I don't like chili that much. I don't care about chili. Okay. And they don't have steak or lobster budget. What then becomes the number one food that you need to see? The pizza, though.
I think the pizza would be the best thing.
What
to
about
do.
the hoagies, where people get the big
Hoagies you
hoagie
can
and
do.
they slice it up?
Yeah, that's
The
what I was
big
going to say.
long
They,
hoagie,
you
slice
can
up
get the 6-foot hoagie, slice it all the way up. I mean, everybody would be happy with that too. It's got to be a little different, is what I'm saying. You can't just throw hot dogs and hamburgers on a plate and say, "Here's your food." You can't. If you're going to buy chips, which I say go and buy from the store, obviously, you put them in bins. You don't leave them in the bag so people are grabbing in and whatnot. But you also have to get the chips and salsa. So,
now
different choices.
Now, here's the thing about the bowls, because people might be talking about the price. The dollar stores have the bowls you can put them in. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. If you got 4 bowls for $4, you could do one bag of chips,
Yep.
boom, boom. Because I think you should do the tortilla chip with the salsa.
Yep. And you can make a con queso with it, or just a regular cheese dip with it.
Right. And then you do the chip, but make sure the chip has either the crinkle cut so you can properly dip, or the kettle chips. The regular chips, you can't really dip. They break. So that ends up being a faux pas. You're guaranteed for your dip to be 50% finger.
And have your finger foods out immediately. And I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be your main foods.
No.
But have something out there when the first guest is there, because they come hungry. I don't mind a vegetable tray. I'm not against it.
A little broccoli, little carrots, little cauliflower,
and that's not too expensive. You can make your own vegetable tray. I think that's always a good idea. I just think you stay within your budget, you can make some nice food choices.
All right. Now, what are some foods you mentioned? Hamburger and hot dogs. Are there any other foods that you don't want to see at a Super Bowl party that's civilized and ready for an Eagles game?
I think you stay away from pastas. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are like, pasta's an easy throw together.
Pasta salad?
Pasta salad is okay.
All right, but no.
So that's what I'm saying. Like an hors d'oeuvre with it, okay, and something you can put in a little cup. You don't want things to be in these huge plates where people are carrying them around your house. Next thing you know, they're on the floor. You need little platefuls of things.
Little platefuls of things.
Mac and cheese.
Now, what about a mac and cheese out the oven?
A homemade mac and cheese is fine.
But not the
Craft
store.
is a no-no.
No, you can't do the craft at a Super Bowl.
No, you can't. You can't just throw. It's like little kid. You're gonna have you probably might have some little kids going around. So I don't mind the mac and cheese is fine. Homemade mac and cheese.
Okay. Now here's another thing that we have to discuss here, because we got to be honest. You mentioned the kids.
Yep.
And you mentioned the kids, and you mentioned that there will be people there that are responsible for those kids.
Right.
So here's the deal. And this one's near and dear to my heart. I'm there to watch the game. I will also watch the commercials like everybody else, but I am there to watch the game. You must, if you're hosting the party, have a way to police the people that aren't there to watch the game. So if everybody wants to watch, then I don't care. As long as everyone can see the TV, the rules are fine. If you have a party in which some people don't want to watch, or the kids are rambunctious and running around all crazy, you now must have to add another parameter like the TV size. That next parameter becomes you have to have a certain size house in order to send the kids and the adults that don't want to watch somewhere
to a secondary room.
And I hate to do that. I'm saying if everybody wants to watch, you can do it in a studio apartment. I don't care. As long as everybody can see the TV, it does not matter. But as soon as you got people in there in the middle of the play, Jalen Hurts is dropping back trying to target A.J. Brown.
Little kid hits a clicker by accident.
And then somebody's in there going, oh, I don't like these uniforms and stuff right in the middle of the play.
Whoa.
That's when you have to have an area. And that area probably should have some sort of secondary TV.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the size there, so that you can then get up if your wife or whatever, or a husband, whoever's not paying attention, you want to go check on the kids during the commercial. If the game was to start again, you got to be able to peek in that secondary room.
You can still see the TV and the kids at the same time.
That way you can get, before you get back to your seat.
And if your kid's out of hand, pick them up, go home.
Right. Or you have to stay in the secondary auxiliary room. Okay?
But some kids are rambunctious and keep going. And that's the ones that exit stage left.
Now, we've only been speaking for like 10 minutes or so. Obviously, we don't have enough time to get to all the food that you require and all the parameters. So if you're viewing this video, you should go into the comments and tell us any food we may have missed or any other rules that we may have missed. All right? The best show ever, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com, NBC Sports Philadelphia, and the podcast is available everywhere, and we'll see all of you guys there.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlist and pick out whatever you want to watch.